Hello and welcome back to this tutorial on the Boeing 777-200 ER, how to fly an ILS approach. I am a real-world Boeing 757 pilot, and I am going to show you how you would set up the aircraft FMC, how to manage your speed on final approach, and what is required to fly an ILS approach. Follow along and enjoy this video. And we're currently in Miami on vectors, and we're heading for the ILS 27. So let's jump into the flight deck and I will show you how you set it up. There we go, we're still climbing to 5,000 feet. We are in flight level change, and the first thing you would have to do, actually I'm gonna vector us here around. We are on a southerly heading, but I want to turn eastbound over the ocean for a downwind, so speed alt, meaning we're going to level off, and I'm going to keep the speed at 230. That is above our minimum clean. Let's head for the after takeoff checklist. It is done as well. Okay, so first thing to do, hit departure arrival, go to ILS 27, and we're doing it via the Hendon transition. Execute that, check the legs. So Hendon at 5,000 feet, Gemroy at 4,000 feet, Sarko 3,000 feet, Jazz 1,800 feet for the runway 27, missed approach 800 feet on runway track, then heading 290, intercept 335, inbound Barbara, hold at Barbara, and the holding, inbound holding 155 with right turns. That is according to my chart. That is all set. That is the first thing you want to do. You have to check that all the waypoints here are within sequence and are coded with the correct altitude restrictions, and sometimes even speed restriction would apply. Okay, so I already have the minimum set. The minimums here for the ILS category 1 are 209. I set 210, and the next thing we have to do is configure for our approach speeds. So we have 24.2 thousand pounds in the tank, so, and we're estimated to arrive with 23.7, so minus 500, so 424.2. So this number minus 500 equals 424.2. That is our estimated landing weight, and we are planning with a flaps 25 landing, so our speed is 139 plus 5 knots for a wind additive. Let's check the RadNav page. So the ILS is auto-tuned, that is the A for auto-tune, and the ILS course is 272 with the frequency 109.5. Perfect, that all makes sense. I will adjust our heading here, and we can come over here. Miami International, runway 27. This is all populated automatically. Now we have to import the weights, but we told the computer that we're landing at 4242. That is our estimated landing weight. Flaps 25, air condition on, engine plus wings anti-ice is in auto. Wind is 0, and we have a standard day, 15 degrees with 2992. Okay, required landing distance, really impressive performance, only 3,100 feet. So yeah, in the real airplane performance tool, it would tell you actually with which auto brake setting you what kind of distance you can expect. That is missing, so that is misleading actually. Well, 3,100 feet is nice to know, but it doesn't help me any much because I'm not sure if this is auto brakes maximum, this is auto brakes 3, or what is that. So not really helpful actually. So I'm just going with auto brakes 2. The runway is actually really long. It is over 13,000 feet, and that should do the job. So let's hit for the checklist. So send checklist, recall is checked, check any nodes, auto brakes 2, landing data, flaps 25, speed 139, and the minimum is 210. Set approach briefing, we consider it as complete. The upper landing descent checklist is completed. We can already do the approach checklist since we're on a local altimeter setting 2992, indicating 5,000 feet. Same here, 2992, 5,000 feet, 2992, 5,000 feet. And the approach checklist is done. Now we can focus on how to get the aircraft onto the localizer initially. So I'm going to adjust the heading. Turn the range down. What we can do, and what you usually do if you are on a radar heading or vectors, you can extend the center line just before expecting a turn towards the localizer. So we extend it here in bound Hendon, and our final approach course 272, and we execute it, and you can see we get a nice extended center line for reference. Progress page telling us 28 miles until our destination Miami. You can also see the 25 nautical mile circle here, which I have drawn on the fixed page. It is for visual reference. The 25 nautical mile circle is indicating the MSA, minimum sector altitude, and the highest minimum sector altitude is towards the south with 2,900 feet, to the north 2,100 feet. We're currently over the ocean. There are not many obstacles, but nevertheless, if we're towards the south of the airfield, we shouldn't go lower than 2,900 feet on a radar vector. If we are on the localizer and on the glide slope, we are basically insured of obstacle clearance. But you couldn't descend below 2,900 feet if you're not on the glide slope or any kind of approved approach. That is basically the important thing about the MSA. Alright. So I'm trying to vector us in here. We're currently on a 90-degree heading. I want to reduce that here in a second. Normal intercept headings are plus 30 degrees from the localizer. So it's 272. So today our intercept heading should be 302. And winds are calm, so no wind adjustment is really needed. So 23 miles, we'll slow to the up speed. And I will turn us in here. And as soon as you're cleared for the localizer, you want to hit the localizer button, and you can see in white a localizer is armed. Green modes are the engaged ones, white modes are armed. So this will pop green as soon as we intercept and capture the localizer. Okay, this heading should be fine for now. Maybe I will do some fine tuning. We will see. You can already see the the glide slope coming in here. This magenta diamond represents our glide slope deviation, and this here for our localizer deviation. So localizer is moving in. It should be in the middle to be fully centered. Localizer, there we go. We captured the localizer. We can hit the approach mode. Glide slope is arm, and we're waiting for it to capture. 18 miles. Let's start to configure the airplane. Flaps 1, and you see the white bar is moving towards the 1, meaning the flaps are driving out. So I will put the speed to our flap 1 speed. And the glide slope is moving in. We can check here the maximum speed for flaps 5. It is 200, what does it say? 235. So we can go speed check flaps 5, and we can turn the speed down to the flaps 5 speed before we intercept the glide slope, so we don't accelerate too much, because this airplane, like the 757, does not like to slow down when you are descending. So descending and reducing speed is a hard task, both for the 75 and the 777. And you can see glide slope is captured. We can set the missed approach altitude, which is 4,000 feet. So we turn it down to 4,000 feet, 4,000 feet, set here as well, 4,000 feet, missed approach landing, missed the go around altitude set, excuse me. Okay, we're on the glide slope on the localizer, and we're almost at our flaps 5 speed. In the 7.5, the airplane would still accelerate, but this seems to do just fine. I'm not sure how realistic this is. I've only flown the 777 in a full flight simulator once, and it was really amazing, I have to say. The airplane handles really nice, and overall I think every pilot who flies this machine is really happy about it. We can also see here in the corner India, Mike, India, Alpha, so Miami 272. This is the identifier for Miami, especially for the ILS 27, I should say. So roughly 10 miles till the runway, all looking good. Have a quick view outside. Beautiful Miami City. Some wing views, flaps 5. Graphics really nicely done here by PMDG. And if you want to be slower, as of right now, you could go flaps 15. You could go all the way till flaps 20 without the gear down. And you need gear down for flaps 25 and 30, otherwise you will get a warning message or caution message. And that is very annoying, and you do not want that. So it seems like we're approaching 7.5 miles from the runway. And we can see the radar altimeter is counting down at 2240. It is basically scanning the surface below us. This is reference to barometric pressure, which we usually use for all operations. Gear down. Gear down to flaps 20. The radar altimeter is most important for operations in low visibilities. For ILS category 3 approaches, you reference your minimums according to the radar altimeter, but that is a topic for a complete different video. You can also check out my low visibility category 3 auto land in the Boeing 757. So we're approaching flaps 20 speed. I will try to arm the speed brake, which is a pain in this simulation here. That was too much. Come on. So you can see land free, rollout flare is armed, indicating that we could perform a auto land. So I'm going flaps 25. The flaps are driving. We can go to our final approach speed, which is 139 plus 5, 144. Let's check the landing checklist, and flaps are 25 and this, come on, this is totally so annoying. Speed brakes armed, landing checklist complete, 1000 feet as soon as we hit this white bar, and we are stable, we are on speed, on glide slope, on the localizer, thrust is within a normal range, flaps 25 gear down, we have read the landing checklist, and we are visual to the runway. So like I said, land free, meaning that all available autopilot channels are working. There's no interference with any of the radar altimeters. We can check it out. It should do a auto land here. So you can see the radar altimeter is counting down and the barometric. So since Miami is pretty much at sea level, it is almost the same as the radar altimeter. But of course the radar altimeter, if there's a valley or a high bridge, etc., it will indicate lower, and in a valley it would indicate higher because it's scanning farther down.
Minimums.
Okay, here we go. Minimums. We monitor for the flare and rollout to
100.
Capture anytime soon. Over the threshold,
50,
roughly 50
40,
feet. Flare,
30, 20,
idle, and
10.
rollout should come at 5 feet, roundabout. Come on, here we go. Rollout. Speed brakes up. Let's hit the reversers. Okay, why is it retracting the flaps? That's not what I wanted. Okay, manual braking. And after an auto land, we have to disconnect the autopilot. Okay, that with the flaps was totally unexpected and shouldn't happen. But that is how you fly an ILS approach in a Boeing 777. I hope you enjoy it. And I will just stop it here on the runway. Put the parking brake on. And yeah, please subscribe, hit like, and tell me in the comments if you want to have any special videos dedicated to aviation, and I am sure to upload them. Thank you for watching.